There's a pair of Midwest transplants in Lexington that was so desperate for a slice of comfort food from their childhood, they built a business out of it.
I couldn't find good bread. I couldn't find the type of bread that I even grew up with, which was so excellent.
When I would go to Chicago, where I grew up, I would come back with a suitcase full of Rosen's Rye.
Joan Foreman and Varda Hamo are the owners of Bread Obsession.
It's all in the name. That's right.
Both of us came here for college. We grew up with wonderful bread in both Chicago and St. Louis, German bakeries that we had very fond memories of.
In order to be able to recreate that bread, I basically had to learn everything about bread baking. It was a major undertaking. And at a certain point, I was making way too much bread for my family, so I decided to try to start selling it.
Soon enough, Varda, who before this worked in finance, needed to bring in her friend Joan, a retired educator, to help with the business.
One of the things that we always wanted was to continue making really good bread no matter how big the endeavor got. And we don't cut corners.
The pair started selling loaves at farmers markets, then opened a shop in Waltham, and in 2022 moved here.
The bread that I was desperately trying to recreate when I first started baking was a Sitzel deli rye. It's the particular version that I grew up with, had a cornmeal finish.
Now, not only have they recreated that rye, they've also perfected an Italian-style Durham Levant and their best-selling baguette.
We make as much baguettes as we make everything else. By the time we get to Saturday, we're making 400 to 500 baguettes, which doesn't sound like a lot if you have a machine that cranks them out. But when you're hand making every single one of them, it actually is quite a bit. Kids like 10, 11 years old come in here and buy baguettes. We just love that. We feel like we're providing to them what we had when we were growing up.
An appreciation for soothing sustenance fresh out of the oven, passed down from one generation to another.
When people walk out with a loaf of bread in a bag that's still warm, I mean, that in itself, just the touch of that warm loaf of bread gives a sense of comfort.
When I smell cardamom, it just brings me back home. And it's been a long time. Every time I use something that's from back home, it makes me smile. And I am glad that I can bring it here into this bakery and have other people try it.
Owner of the Alchemist Baker, Ambreen Hassan, moved to the U.S. from Pakistan when she was 15 years old. After college, she worked as an environmental engineer.
It was not a 9-to-5 job. It was more out in the field, driving a truck, and I loved it.
Ambreen took a break when she and her husband started a family, and a couple years later pivoted, forging a different path.
I started baking as a hobby until I made a wedding cake for my sister, and that's when I was like, okay, this is something, I could do this. It was more like a catalyst, that event.
Ambreen studied at the French Culinary Institute in New York City, where she was living at the time, worked for a couple of bakeries there, then moved to Massachusetts, where she got more experience under her belt.
Sometimes you dream of something, you just need a little push. And I think COVID was that push for me. I wanted to create a job for myself that I loved, and that would challenge me every day. And owning a bakery, it kind of encapsulates everything that I wanted to do.
In 2021, she opened her own shop in Canton to a warm welcome.
I feel very lucky to be part of this community.
There is so much to choose from, more than 60 different items, many of which change with the seasons. For starters, the pear and cranberry cardamom crostata.
It's a perfect combination of all these flavors. It is an open-faced pie, very rustic looking.
Her scones are a departure from the drier version served in Europe. This rich, moist batch is flavored with apple and chai spices.
Apple is a fruit that is very accepting of flavors. You drink chai in the evening and it is like winding down the day, so it is very comforting. So why not mix those two, and they work beautifully together.
This double-baked croissant is layered inside with pumpkin and almond.
Using flavors from my culture is something that I wanted to kind of bring it here in Canton. It makes me happy to create food that makes them happy, and then also create this culture here around food.
And if you're wondering about the name, The Alchemist Baker, Anne Breen says it was actually her husband's idea, inspired by one of her favorite books, though, The Alchemist, of course, by Paulo Coelho.
And an alchemist turns raw ingredients into gold, kind of like Anne Breen in the kitchen. And she also says it's a great nod to her degree in engineering.
All right, coming up, comforting dishes that are all in the family.